Afterworld. 2 days later, huh? Well, this is certainly something. That's an ass load of lore that was just dropped on us, especially concerning fates and names and words of power. We had been hinted at words of power before, but they never like directly addressed words of power. So I'm glad that they did. Makes me wonder though how fate works and how words of power work. Yeah, the world. I was right. The world's not super huge here, but yeah, interesting. So we're gonna have Wanderer with his mini dragon now. That shares the same fate as him. Is that a preview for how dragons look are gonna look in Natlan? And that's also another thing. What the actual preview for Natlan is. Is it fate? Words of power? Changing one's destiny? Reclaiming your past? Like what exactly is our gonna be our like our what in here is our Natlan preview? I wonder. I'm gonna go with words of power and like how fate aligns. Or is I thought you had to stack these. That makes more sense. Okay. No. What's that? Anyways, oh, that's it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, we haven't finished it yet exactly. So we still got the last preview. But I'm trying to think, like, trying to start, spin my wheels in my head. What exactly is our next? How this ties into Notland? Because let's go. Summer Event One had the Mangu Kenki, and it had like I don't really know. I didn't do Summer Event One. I wasn't there. I didn't play the game at 1.0, so that's not content I did. So well, I know it had Mangu Kenki. That was tie into Inazuma. But Summer Event 2 was about dreams, and it had the idea of being in a dream dimension and going through the dream world and alternate reality. And it had Nahida talking to us, and how she was like, "Wow, you could ask Bentley for help, bro. Don't you want to figure out the mystery yourself?" And I was like, "No," but we did anyways. The idea of being trapped in a dream world. It was the idea of being trapped. That's what got us. But it wasn't even. It wasn't only that. It was the idea of being trapped and not being able to change someone's fate. Because it tied into the after chapter of Scaramouche, where you have Shin Yan's part of hers. You had like Kazuha's part of the story where you got to see his fate directly and see how he couldn't change events no matter what he could do. He wasn't in time, and him running through the story, it just he accepted. Xinyan and like fucking Cosmos was accepting their fate. Xinyan didn't change who she was just because people like the circumstances that happened to her. She was always gonna be herself, no matter what, because that's who she is. Kazuha couldn't save his friend, and while I was suffering, he was able to like live with the past, reconcile with the past, and move on, even though it's a tragic event. Mona's story was about the idea of fate and the fact that you can't change fate, you can't save everyone, and the stuff that people have is set in stone. And then Fish was about once again accepting yourself and finding out who you really are, and like realizing, like actualizing what you want to be, and then tie all that in because tie all that in with the fact that we're in a dream world, which is an idea of like the power that Nahida has in the Dendro Archon, but the overarching idea of fate itself not being changed, which is very common, as we know, in a lot of the stories this game has with fate. So I'm wondering, what's the overarching story here? Because obviously, dragons, fairy tale, words of power. A kingdom of different sections coming together, or a dragon threat. Like it's got like the hints of what we're supposed to know Natlan is. Like it's Dragonland, it's groups. I know what Kirara's quest is, even though we haven't done it, or you guys haven't seen me do it. It's gonna come out after this. It's about uniting the tribes and getting the colors together. Or uniting the groups and getting like all the colors together. Which I'm guessing is gonna tie into Natlan in a bit. Other than that, I'm trying to think like what the big overarching narrative is. I'm gonna save that like big like discussion. I mean, this discussion's already huge in and of itself, but like the most discussions we have here, I save it for when we're at the end of the quest because clearly there's 2 days later and there's another like we look like I haven't gotten the full story. Like we still got 3 more quests of what's going on. Anyways, we'll go back to that. So I'm trying to think. What am I missing? Like going through. I feel like words of power are what it is. I really do feel like that's like the big thing. That like is a little subtext that comes through like names and the idea of fate being tied and not being changed or being co-signed to a fate by taking a name. The Archon chapter is called Molting Rebirth or whatever the fuck it is. Like, so the idea of I can imagine that idea of killing someone or killing something or an idea and rebirthing it by taking its place and taking its name. Ooh, they could do a lot with that. They could tie into how visions work and the idea of how someone is able to take someone else's vision. I could see that. So her statue's out here. Bro, this is the spot. If you want to pull for a character, this is how you do it. Make a wish. Guys, we gotta make a wish. I wish I could get Nilu's weapon, bro. In one pull. It didn't work. It didn't work. Oh, I didn't make it clear. I wish I could get Nilu's weapon in one pull because I wish I could get Nilu's weapon in one pull because I want to use her as a character and actually have her with a super HP build and use her on field. Boom, there you go. That. And that's why you don't believe in fate. Huh? Ooh, this music. There's a tale, and this is below. This is a hell of a theme. Is the design of it supposed to be like a V, like a book opening and light coming out of a book? Like the story pages? Now, what is this? Wind blast hard passes? That's the summer, okay. This is where number two. Interesting. And our ship. How was that in this world? This fairy tale world has items from our other summer adventures. Oh, interesting. The clockwork. Dreams of ancient capital. A book about a young woman named Lycia who sets out on a journey alone, following the rumored ruination of her homeland at the hands of a black dragon. Hey, yo? We talking about Conria? Destroyed by a dragon? Journey she a former guard of the kingdom, and now errant warrior, and sought his guidance in the art of swordsmanship. But the guard had long since given up hope, and had both lost the will to wield the sword and the courage to swing it. I cannot fill a bottle with hope and give it to you, said Lycia. But I do remember a song from my childhood. It sings of how the spring is as fleeting as a shooting star, and it taught me to cherish every flower still in blossom about my feet. You need not master the way of the sword, said the guard. I can see in your eyes that you are in possession of something even more powerful. After continuing her way once more, following the guidance of the elders, Lucia entered the dense forest and came before a wise owl, keeper of the keys to the kingdom of dreams. The owl's daughter, rolling forth like a surrounding mist, enveloped her from all sides. Do you know what it means to retreat in the face of adversity? As long as my legs can still walk, I will keep moving forward. Do you fear the thought of death knocking at your door? I will fight it right up until the final moment arrives. One last question. Can you swear to set your heart on revenge? This is sounding like our sibling. Like our sibling going to Conria, meeting Dainsleif, going to the forest, meeting Clothair, seeing his son turned into mist. This is sounding very similar. Having now obtained a key, Lycia opened the door to the kingdom of dreams, where she crossed the river of stars and ascended an ink black stairway. During many hardships, finally she confessed the reason for coming before the goddess of dreams, and in exchange for a lock of her golden hair, learned the magic of luring someone into a dream. Then she declared the world should take revenge upon the black dragon. In the beginning, the black dragon knew only black and white, but under the magical spell, it dreamed of 1,001 different worlds, each far more vibrant and vivid than fire and brimstone. If worlds like these will strike your fancy as well, said Lycia, I will turn back the dial of the night sky, reversing all the stars in their course, returning things to the day before you arrived to my hometown. At the story's end, Lycia awoke from the previous night's dream to familiar sights of her hometown outside her window, the birds singing and the flowers in bloom, and all was at peace. For the little door to the wooden cabin, there came a gentle knocking. Opening the door, Lycia beheld a black-haired stranger standing outside. I cannot distinguish the color of your hair, the man said, but I suppose it must be golden, just like the color of the stars in my dream. Now the back of the book. You really like stories about dragons, don't you? This is like a straight up things are to come. Sounds like the Luma Fate. Open the king. So she opened the keys to the kingdom. Blah 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 blah. Hardship. So that she went to the abyss. But the goddess of dreams, in exchange for a lock of her golden hair, she learned the magic of luring someone into a dream. Interesting. So she tricks the dragon, or she allows the dragon to see a dream of better worlds, and it'll change it to reverse his time. That's I mean, that sounds like a fucking hell of a. Oh, okay, it's just two things about it. Incomplete manuscript. Methods filled with precious treasures started joined together and unlocked snakes. Jesus, but there was a little white stoat, a little white mouse, perhaps, who lived in this prosperous and tranquil town. All her friends and neighbors called her Snowflake. Snowflake had a pure white fur, as white as the never melting snow on top of a mountain peak, without a single blemish to be seen. Her eyes sparkled with the silent brilliance of night. Her voice was bright and clear, as if a pair of invisible hands were playing upon fine instruments, or as though someone was pouring a pale golden wine into a glass. All the townspeople wished to see her every day, and even if just to say hello, but overwhelmed by the people's adulation and bedazzled by the shining jewels, Snowflake forgot herself, even abandoning her own original name. What about my greeting gift? Said Miss Snowflake, too lazy to open the door fully, with a not but the ruby bracelet on her slender wrist shining brightly through the crack. A troubled look came over her visitor's face. With a bang, the door was shut once more. The pure, noble, and highly revered Miss Snowflake returned to her dressing table to await the coming of the next sincere admirer. Her dream was to find herself the perfect husband, but clearly only someone who possessed the most. Where have we heard this story before? We've heard this, right? Where the woman was loved by everyone in the town. She was so loved, but something. She was. Right, it's the story where she was blessed. And she was blessed that everyone would love her and she would never face a hardship. But the person took back the blessing. And eventually they all resented her because she was so great. Is this from her perspective? The Snowflake is too lazy to open the foot, not with a ruby bracelet on her mama. Highly revered, Snowflake returned to her table, coming to the next sincere admirer. Her dream was to find herself a perfect husband. Clearly, only someone who possessed the most precious treasure in the world could be deserving of her divine hand of magic. Wow, I read that completely wrong. Could be deserving of her hand in marriage. That day, a certain wandering Mr. Cat paid a visit to the town. He came from a faraway kingdom in the north, and wore a coat of thick, well-groomed fur, and perhaps you might even say over-groomed. In fact, if you got close, you could even smell where he had eaten for his last meal. The cat is currently sitting on the top of me, licking itself. It's a really fishy smell. There was a wisdom in the emerald green eyes, as beyond anything the common folk could hope to attain. The kind-hearted townspeople welcomed the traveler warmly. And within the time it took him to drink 3 cups of ale, he had already heard about all the town's noteworthy goings on, and no less than 5 different weather forecasts for the following day. All among the news, what was most interested in him was relating to Snowflake. Where might I meet this beautiful lady? Ah, if I was you, I wouldn't bother. And why is that? This Snowflake has a penchant for rare treasures. Over the past 2 years, she has become more and more particular. Unless you are in possession of vast wealth already, you may as well give up on the idea sooner rather than later, for your own good. Hearing that, Mr. Cat's green eyes twinkled. Knock, knock. Mr. Cat knocked on Snowflake's door. To him, her house seemed a little on the small side. My greeting gift? A pair of listless eyes looked out at Mr. Cat through a crack in the door. Of course, I have prepared the most magnificent gift for the esteemed Miss Snowflake, which I trust will only make you more beautiful than you already are. A necklace inlaid with an agate. I can't remember how to say that stone. From the north, pearls from the southern seas, amber from the west. It is my clan's greatest treasure, trusted by my elders. I have traveled the world in search of the most beautiful, noble person presented to you. It is a great honor to meet you, Miss Snowflake. I believe that you must be the one I seek. Please, accept my gift. A flash of dazzling color shined out from the crack in the door as the reflections of the opulent necklace sprinkled in Miss Snowflake's eyes. Not bad, not bad. Just about up to my standards, Miss Snowflake said proudly. After meeting you, I cannot convince that all jewelry will pale in comparison with your unparalleled beauty. But please, allow me to help you put it on. Mr. Cat bowed sincerely, and he took a step inside, nearly getting stuck in the cracked open door as he did so. I will now perform a ceremony of blessing and prayer upon you, and this gift may still shine as brightly as the moonlight once I am gone. Please, go ahead. Intoxicated by his praise, Miss Snowflake exposed her flawless alabaster neck. And from that day forth, no one ever saw Miss Snowflake again. And some say she had grown tired of the mundanity of life in the town and set out on a journey to find treasure alone, whereas others were convinced that she had finally found the husband she'd been waiting for, living happily ever after with that Mr. Cat from afar. For someone passing, Mr. Cat, as he left the town, caught a whiff of Miss Snowflake's delicate perfume on his fur coat. Interesting. So he fucking killed her. I wonder. Now, what was the message of that story? An incomplete man. Also, I wonder what the significance of this place is. Because the fact that it holds items that are from our other islands. Like, how is that possible? Unless someone was to come here after us, after our adventures. Questions for later, I guess. But for now, I bid you adieu. We'll be doing the next parts very soon. Is that Mona Majestus? Here to see your master's handiwork, huh?
Are my eyes deceiving me? There is no way. I can't believe it.
Yep, see your master's handiwork.
Hey, Mona! We heard you muttering from a long way away. What's up?
Everyone's seen it.
Oh, is your scry glass acting up again?
Oh, it's you, the saviors of this world. My scry glass is fine, but I'm not sure I can say the same about my eyes. Look at this statue.
Yeah, it's Barbaloth, Barbados.
What? Is it broken or something? Looks fine to Paimon. That's your master, right? AKA the goddess of prophecy?
I refuse to believe it. There's no way that old hag looks anything like this.
Maybe she did when she was younger. Or what? Is it your mother? Does she look like you in the future? That'd actually be crazy.
She was younger. Oh, actually, now that you mention it, this does remind me of the fashionista phase she wrote about in her diary. She can't hear me, can she? I swear I just got chills down
Her
my
star.
spine.
Isn't that not the Conrian star? She's got a Conrian star on her neck. Didn't notice it
Either
before.
way, it's probably a little rude to talk about her right under her statue. But how do you know it's a statue of her if you never saw her as a young woman?
I did a quick scry when I came into this world, and when I saw the star's reflections, I was at a loss for words. It looks like fate in Simulanka is based directly on Tevat. A projection of real-world fate to form an image of reality. Or in layman's terms, basically, the creator made this world inside a mirror or a lake, and this world is the reflection.
That's why it's
Still
upside
sounds
down
pretty
on top.
impressive.
The
Sounds like
more
how
I
Tevat would be.
scried, the more familiar everything looked. It's her work, there's no doubt about it. Even so, everything's far more complex than I'd imagined. Trying to decipher it all is giving me quite a headache.
We don't know her master is a visionary or a prophetess, which are like the highest tier people who are able to see the fate of entire worlds. So to recreate Tevat's fate entirely, so it depends on the fate of this world, should align perfectly with the fate of Tevat's.
I also asked the locals about her. They call her she
It
who
also
has
gives
dominion
credence.
over the stars and the course of fate itself. Not even a pretense of humility. Clearly, she let the role of creator goddess skip to her head.
No, so if this is able to, like, what is it, fucking tie into the fate of Tevat, who's to say Tevat isn't a reflection of another world in and of itself, or created in the reflection of another world? Right, we do say the sky is fake, so
Not that I'm surprised in the least, of course. It certainly matches the
but the
tone
sky
of
is
her
a created
diary.
instance, and the world itself, reality is a reflection.
Anyway,
The sky
we
would be
should
fake.
change the topic.
Oh, so Mona, have you seen a small dragon around by any chance? He's about the same size as Paimon, but with tiny little wings.
It would tie that the constellations and fate would be created to set tracks for the world, and then it would be reflected back into making what reality currently exists in. that would mean that would tie into Sky is fake and you're living in a created reality. Now the question is who created it and for what purpose?
Ah, you mean the one that caused all that trouble?
That's
I haven't
if
seen him for myself.
this world is one
but
to
I
one.
heard that he came to the Metropole not long ago to formally apologize for his actions. Apparently, he brought a huge stash of Toitanium and plant oil to make amends. Most people accepted his apology, although there are some who said that they'll reserve judgment until they've seen how he acts in the future.
The actual intelligent ones.
Oh, okay. Do you know where we can find him?
One moment.
Scry tracking, bro. Advanced modem justice technology. Nope. All that just to say, nope, can't find.
Ah, it looks like he's at the Broken Sea. There's a big group of people with him, too.
They didn't need to do that, like,
Cool. Wanna
animation.
come
They could
with
have had her
us? We
talk
can
while they
introduce
were.
you?
I think I'll sit this one out. This might be the closest I ever get to meeting the old hag in our youth, so I think I'll spend some time seeing what else I can glean from her grand design. You guys have fun.
Thanks for your help, astrologer
Anytime.
assistant, assologist.
We'll be off now. See you later, Mona.
What if it was cyclical like that, and Mona's master is her?
Creating a whole world starscape is no easy task.
Want to read our mind?
Hag, I guess you do deserve the title of Trismegistus after all.
No, because Mona's talked about her. I made the joke. I was like, oh, weapons are not. No, I think she's talked about her grandchildren, so they're not. It's not her. That'd be crazy, though.
Yeah.
Whole lot of people with them, huh? And this looks like a whole lot of nothing.
Osvaldo Hafnavines! Does
Facial
thou
hairs
see
too?
what I am seeing? Tell me that my all-perceiving Aug de Verurtelung deceiveth me not.
Yeah, another nigga with a fucking flying creature.
Your eyes
Congratulations.
see true.
You're not the
main
only one.
Fräulein.
Very well. Then, as sovereign ruler of the Immenachreich, I extend to you both my greetings, O Night Dragon from the land of the Thousand Stars, and his hat-wearing servant.
Who did you just call a servant?
What main Fräulein means to say is, hello, it's a pleasure to meet you.
I love the
Pleasure to
low
meet you
texture
too.
outfit versus a modern
But
outfit.
Hat Guy's not my servant. He's my friend.
We're just gonna call it Hack Guy, huh?
Now you're over-explaining.
Hat guy, Minnie Durin! Found you at last. Whoa, and Fischl's with you too?
Oh, greetings, Outlander blessed by the Immenachreich. How honored you are to meet your princessin beneath the stars of another sky. Clearly a decision made by fate itself.
I echo your sentiments, Your Highness.
Mr. Honorary Knight, Paimon!
Not, no, everyone's here, huh? I guess there was a lot of people.
Greetings. You both look well.
Hey, two creative beings about to meet each other.
Hey there, Glee! Have you been having fun here?
And a child and an insane person.
Yup!
This is gonna be
loads
banging.
and loads of fun! There are so many cute animals! And a magic train that was really long! And a huge, huge castle! And a king lives there and everything!
You get to meet
I've
Navi.
been taking Klee to see all the sights. It's been a very enriching experience. Alice's magic is truly outstanding.
Yeah, Mom's amazing! Clee wants to build a great big house now, too!
So, your mom and my mom were friends?
God, this
Our
Digimon, the way
moms
he's
were
written.
friends, which makes you my big brother!
That's not how that works.
My mom used to read your mom's stories to me all the time. They were great!
Big brother?
Right, yeah, technically, I guess not. He is Durin, so if anything, he is related to Albedo. That does count. Because that's how that works. And no, the fucking Melusines and Ilianas and the Wolfhounds are not related to Albedo. She pulled them from another dimension. Every time someone's like, Ilianas was created by a fucking Rhine daughter. No, Literally said she pulled the wolfhounds from the beast realm and she pulled the aliens from space.
Wow. Thank you, Klee. Can I go play with Klee, Hat Guy?
Suit yourself.
Albedo, can I?
Yes, you can play with the dragon.
Go on. Just don't go too far away. I'll come pick you up later.
Bro, if people gotta draw a hat guy and fucking the dragon.
Come on, Mini
I want to see
Durin.
grown-up Klee with a
Do
grown-up
you wanna come
Durin.
play with us too, Fischl?
Your princessin accepts your invitation. Rejoice! Though you may be concealed by fog, still you shall have the good fortune to witness the true might of the Aug de Bertelang.
What Main Fräulein means
Child
to
is
say
hard.
is, perhaps we can all play hide and seek together.
What?
Main Fräulein is it.
Hooray! I love hide and seek!
I would not play hide and seek on these islands where
me
you can
too.
fall into the ink void.
To return to our previous discussion, Mr. Hat Guy, you were telling me about a prophecy?
I heard B talking to M. What she said was,
Since you're so persistent, let me tell you a secret. Our child will one day rise from the dead.
Is she saying that Dragon Spine Durin will come back to life?
Interesting. I mean, his heart's still there, and he intertwined with the, he revived the Irminsul tree there, the branch of Irminsul, and changed it completely. It infused into him. Kind of like how Ilianus died and was able to infuse in the land and create Melazines. And, well, the wolf, we haven't seen anything with the wolfhounds.
I only heard it in a memory, so don't hold me to it.
Understood. My recent observations at Dragonspine lend credence to this prophecy as well. Durin's heart has slowly but surely been growing in vitality. The process is extremely slow, but the trend is clear.
Well, she created an unkillable being.
What should we do?
Let him revive.
To start with, plan for every potential scenario, including, of course, the worst-case scenario. I am well aware of Durin's past, and I sincerely hope that things never escalate to that point. Still, we need to be prepared for every
Took
possibility.
the 4 winds and an
If
Archon
the
to even take
prophecy
him
is
down.
true,
He killed 3 of them.
Durin's heart
And
will
took
one
out the
day
Archon
beat
for
again.
500 years.
I'd like to hope that whatever rises from the dead is no evil dragon, if you understand what I mean.
Technically speaking, isn't Mini Durin already the resurrection?
Kind of? But not really.
I
And
guess
so,
the
when the
dragon's
time
nurtured
comes,
from the beginning.
Mr. Hat Guy, will you and Similanka's Durin be willing to lend us a hand in our hour of need?
Huh? What's this got to do with me?
The fates are tied.
You saved the Durin of this world. I don't see that as a mere coincidence.
Bro, how you die?
If
I
there's
know,
any
you know what?
meaning to be read into the actions of the 3 goddesses, beyond fairy tale whimsy alone, I can only boldly speculate that the fate of this reflected world may have a reciprocal effect upon our own world. If Durin of Dragonspine will soon
True.
come back to life, we will need many Durin's help, as well as yours, given that your fates are now intertwined.
Now that I think about it, since this is a fairy tale world, and we know that fairy tales can be used to subvert events that happen or bypass cycles and contain information that can be erased, in a sense, this world could, in a way, be outside of Irminsul's influence and be a recounting of history. If someone was, like, say, visionary, like B, saw, like, the entire fairy tale world, the history of that, prophesized all of it or scried all of it, saw how certain events were going to play out, then proceed to create a world to recreate what Tavat was, an isolated area, and manufacture, it's like have an event play out, like Durin being resurrected, and manufacture events that could then be transplanted into the real, or manufacture like items, or you know what I'm trying to say, like instances that could then be transplanted back into the real world to change the course of fate because they're outside the scope of Irminsul. You get what I'm trying to say? you essentially create, it's like a simulation in itself, like literally simulacra. It's like a simulation so that you could see how events would play out, like the history of Tevat, and see how you could tweak it in this world and what would happen in the real world. This like the storybook itself is like a fucking planning scenario cases.
Well, that's a nuisance.
To be sure, it certainly won't be easy.
Albedo! There's a flying paper ship over there! Can we go see it together, please?
Yeah, so if you, like Durin being resurrected, someone saw Durin to be resurrected, and he would come back, and he already destroyed a shitload of Mondstadt before. What if he did it again when he got resurrected? How could we change that? Okay, we'll put Durin in this world, and we'll have him do whatever the fuck and be normal so that this Durin can then somehow, because remember, they're visionaries, so they could probably see other events, or you facilitate that if Durin ever resurrects, we can pull mini Durin out and we can change the course of fate. Either they planned for like heroes to come in and change the course of fate, like, oh, Durin's ready, and so the book sought out people on its own, which then allowed the mini Durin to be taken out and the seeds to be planted, or it's a contingency plan and someone eventually would find the book and save it. I don't know how it would play out, because we do know that fate is set in stone, so you can plan for events to happen, which leads credence to what the fuck okay, I need to stop saying what the actual Hexenzirkel is, considering what they pledged to. It was a group of ladies who did the reading studies and all this stuff, but you can tell they're incredibly powerful, and they're quite literally shaping the fate of like Tevat completely, like isolated out without any oversight or reference. You see Rhine-Daughter is a sinner. You see Alice and them create shit be like this world, so I wonder what their actual like end goal is. They're supposed to not wage war on Mondstadt. Not really sure what that like entails, why Mondstadt and wage war with the Archons is supposed to be. But clearly someone saw them as a threat. Yeah, because what was it? Venti is like, oh, they said we were going to go to war with like the Archons, and Venti's like, hang on now, how about we don't do that? So I wonder, what did they see in Fate that they thought that that was the best scenario? Now maybe that's the whole point. They saw that Fate couldn't be changed, and so they decided we're going to go to war, and somehow Venti convinced them, actually, you could change fate by doing this, and using your powers, and blah, blah, blah. I wonder how it's going to tie together. It probably won't, to be honest. I mean, as much as I enjoy the lasagna style of the game, where it's all layered and caked together, and you could, and it's funny, because, like, you know, like a 7-layer lasagna. Like, the game story is like a 7-layer lasagna, if you've played it from 1.0 to here. But, like, events like this that'll disappear, you can rip out an entire layer, and the story's still coherent. But, like, playing this game after, from, like, 1.0 to 7, after, say, something like Shiznaya comes out, you're playing like a 2-layer lasagna game instead of a fucking 7-layer that people who have played since the beginning to 7.0 non-stop and experience all the events I've got. That's the only like gripe I have with the game, that story-wise, you lose a lot. Like, this is going to be lost, which is a travesty for storytelling. It reminds me of Destiny 2, where it's like, you want to do the Red War? We rip that entire out the game. And you didn't do the Season of Seraph or the other seasons, well, you lost that story content. It's a very interesting thing you see in a lot of games nowadays. AAA, live service games really, where they'll have story elements. Fucking Fortnite. A Fortnite story is complete malarkey. It's not an actual story, but like, it's the same thing where it's like, you have references like Season 2, Chapter 1, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, and then Spider-Man shows up, and then The Rock actually comes out the Rift portal, and the Rift was established. It's like, what? That one is just literally throwing shit at a wall just to get the stick. But even then, it still has the story ripped out, because it's like, you're gonna play the season, you don't know what the hell's happening. Destiny, Genshin, And it's not even just like Genshin. Honkai Star Rail event, you missed that event? Sorry. ZZZ's probably gonna have it. Wuthering Waves will probably have it. It hasn't had it yet, because those games obviously are 1.0s. But like, it's like, damn. How much story are you gonna rip out? HSR is a lot better with it. Like, considering they have the permanent events. That's what makes it better. Like, this game needs. They're never gonna do it. Or maybe like when the game hits like 7.0, they'll figure out a way to like retroactively fucking do it. Like the Luma Fate or whatever the hell the story is. But god damn. Does it need the retroactive events back to like experience the story? But it's just like, even if you got a private server of this game up and running when it hits end of service, could someone even get the old like events and stuff and put them back in and then set it up to time gate? Like, I don't even know if it's possible. Like, you'll never experience those lantern raids.
Sure. 2 seconds. I'll be right with you. Please give my suggestion some thought, Mr. Hat Guy.
Hey, bro, you gotta save the monster.
Hat Guy, I'm back! Huh? What were you guys talking about?
Doesn't concern you.
Nothing.
No, I guess it does concern you. Literally. But yeah, it's not really nothing.
Okay then, let's go join the others. Everyone's going to check out the new origami ship.
Who built the origami ship?
All right, I'll be right there.
Oh, you can say his name.
Why would I be?
Okay.
Do I strike you as someone who cares about other people's issues?
Yeah, you sound like the guy who seems like he doesn't.
Quit trying to guess what I'm thinking. I'm leaving.
You did that to us, bro. Can you change fate in this world? Figured it out. Erase myself. That's true, though. He doesn't need his time to think about it for himself. Who built this?
Aww, what a lovely little boat!
It's actually a sky ship.
The forest fairy helped us make it.
Paimon just realized there's a lot fewer people around the Broken Sea now. Guess most of them have made their way back to the metropole.
Yeah, they're not trapped anymore.
Does this boat have a name? I can't see one anywhere.
Durin Express.
Huh? A name?
We got Aerial Express. Try Astral Express.
Every boat has a name. At least all the ones I've seen before.
They're usually symbolic names that represent something aspirational.
Let's go with the Durin.
The Durin, huh?
Huh? You want to name it after me?
Oh, you mean to wish Mini Durin a safe voyage as he sails into a new chapter of his life beyond this world?
Yeah, bro. That's the lore people, bro. Let's read too deep into it.
Your princessin approves. Let this vessel bear the name of the most esteemed dragon of the night. The Durin. Let's call it that then. Thank you, Hat Guy.
You better not say you came up with the name.
Also, can I ask you a favor?
Go on.
Go on.
Remember how Mom's friend said I should be able to leave this world? Well, I want to pay a visit to your world. Just a quick trip, can we?
Huh?
Yeah, I'll fuck with that one.
Is that a no?
Paimon thinks that's a great idea. If the people of Simulanka are allowed to go to Teyvat, then what's the problem with taking Mini Durin there for a visit?
I'm assuming I'll have to be your bodyguard while we're there.
Yeah.
I can protect myself.
You know nothing about the world.
And I'll
Yeah,
do
you
what
have to protect
say.
them.
I won't fly off on my own, I promise. Please, can I go?
It'll be up to you to stick close. If you disappear on me, don't expect me to come looking.
God, man,
Got
they
it.
really bent
I'll
him
stay
into a
close.
Swande.
Why don't you take the Durin?
Sundre character.
Now you've given
Sundre,
it a name.
a Sundre
It'll be a
character.
maiden voyage for the boat
Good
and a
God.
brand new journey for you.
We don't have a bottle of crack on it,
Leaving
though.
Mini Durin? Okay. Well, make sure you come visit me in Mondstadt.
Someone get a bottle of
so we
tonic
can
to crack
play
on the
together
stern.
Again. Clea
Or the
will
bow.
draw you a
It's the
map
stern.
to show you the way.
Though our time together has been as fleeting as a ray of light in the depths of the long night, the Imanakreich will welcome you with the grandest of music ceremonies on the occasion of our next reunion. As surely as the stars in the sky watch over us, we shall meet again.
What main Fräulein means is that you're always welcome to visit her at home as well.
Cool! Ah, I have so many new friends now! I'm so happy!
Are you done yet? If you want to leave, then get over here.
So aggressive with it.
Thank you, everyone! Thank you so much! The blessings you gave me are more precious than any treasure, and more beautiful than any fairy tale!
Yeah, we really blessed you to be able to leave the world with our power.
Next time, it will be my turn to make your wishes come true!
Crazy that it's our blessing that allows him to leave, by the way. So, picture book that concerns the fell dragon of Simulanka. As to say, sure. None know the tales that are recorded in this text. Dragon sad, sees a star, he tries to grab the star. Ain't that something? Who cares? We're done. We wanted to. We'll stream the rest of the quest and the small events. But for the most part, we've done it. Now the moon's in the sky. Statue where you make your wish. And that's it. This probably... I mean... I don't know. The lore-wise... Is this like... I haven't done everything, but... Is this like the best summer event? 1 was good. 2 was crazy. I'm glad I got to do 2. I know how many people didn't like stuff, but just... The areas, and like Mona's area, and Fischl's, and the music was just so good. And the story wasn't crazy, but it was about the idea of like being yourself in the dreamland. 3 was okay, like the Bottleland wasn't crazy, but I would say this one is definitely like up there. For me, this is probably the best summer event. Even though I haven't done the quest, just the area and the story told and like the music so far, it's very simplistic, but just the way it ties into the actual lore, this is probably my favorite story summer event.
Together. 2 heads are better than 1.
Granted, I've only done 3 of them, but this is what I feel like summer events should be. Not just, I mean, it's fun escapades or whatever, but like tied in. And if you want to do like how 2 was, where just a little bit of lore, you got some character story, or if you want to do 3 where it's all just and like 3 and 1 where it's all just character story. But this one is like heavy lore. Like they're all different. I like the heavy lore ones at least. So 2 and 4, my banger ones, and I'd say this one's fun. Now, in all, we're done. There'll be more stuff, but video-wise, we're done with the summer event.
That key you hold is the pivot point about which the past and present of the Metropole revolve. However, between our 3 clans, there is some dispute over the historical record.
Is that so?
Each clan has its own version of history, detailing the clan's origins and the tale of the dragon of old. And unfortunately, we don't know which one is the truth.
Sounds like Natlan's fault.
You mean the one that's been acting up recently?
Legendary item, multiple tribes,
No, not
wanting
that
to
one, you
claim
adorable little pixie.
the truth.
When I say dragon of old,
He means a dragon that would be really, really old if it was still with us today, but it was defeated in ancient times. The new one has nothing to do with our clan history.
Was that supposed to be a joke? Anyway, so you've been waiting for someone to remove the key so you can finally explore the truth of the past?
Also, are they implying that there's an even older dragon than the one that was already fucking shit up that was built into this world? Never heard of that.
not just explore it, but argue incessantly about it. Honestly, I don't care that much. Cape's the one who's always bothering us about it.
Also, it's pretty good foreshadowing, telling for Natlan stuff. An old dragon. Everyone's gonna assume the current dragon's like, no, we mean the sovereign.
What we need to figure out is who resolved the dragon crisis. We have to know that before we can decide which is the supreme clan.
The moment you removed the key from where it was lodged, you became the honorary Marquis. We humbly beseech you, noble Outlander.
Always become an honor or something. And with the inclusion of the ending part of this quest, not the ending part of the quest, we know the Traveler is not the main character of the story. So when we have stuff like this,
Noble Traveler
always
Marquis,
honorary,
we
always
ask you to help us.
assigned or never
and your,
direct, like
your talking Puss in Boots and the pale floating pixie.
My view is that the illusion of time is more of a problem of consciousness. Gears power the body, while the body is the vessel of the conscious mind. But the mind cannot understand the dimension of time, so we experience instead an endless continuum of moments as the pinion of now turns along the rack of ages.
I'm
That's
getting
certainly
flashbacks to when I was
an
delivering
idea.
packages to the Sumeru Academia.
A teacher once asked Albizzi what his greatest fear was, and he replied, dragons. Boberano was asked the same question. He replied, time, and repeated the argument we just heard. The teacher then turned to Cape and posed the same question. He replied, Boberano.
okay,
The
very fun.
manuscript that
Based off
tells
of
the
me.
truth of the historical record, the blueprint to all of creation, the work of the great mage themselves. It can be found at the beginning of the Girak, and on the very first page of the book.
Paimon didn't follow all that, but basically, you're just saying that we need to put the key in and turn it all the way back?
Exactly. It is said that in the beginning, the goddess of creation took the goddess of fate's manuscript as a blueprint, placed it under the goddess of prophecy's starry realm, and generated the world from a few magic arrays.
That sounds about
So in
right.
a few moments, when the great clockwork key turns the local time here back to the very beginning, we will restore the magic arrays back to their original configurations.
What does that mean?
Hold on.
All they
Isn't
disarrayed?
stealing part of the blueprint of creation a little dangerous? Also, how are we supposed to know the original configurations of the magic arrays?
Well, the general shapes of the configurations have been passed down over the ages. They now form the family crests of each of our clans. So you'll just need to reference my family crest and join the dots accordingly.
We're gonna do this 2 more times for each zone. Brave Francosis messed the haystack. For 12 planted it tines down. Oh god. Down the mountain top behind him was a large bright moon. He shouted the names of everyone. The chief. Village chief was the first to be named. So frightened he was that he wished to climb up the haystack and stop friend I don't know, say that Francois, Francois. I fucking said that. I don't speak French. Are you crazy? You're yelling so loudly the dragon might shout. You good for nothing? Have you seen the windmill? Everyone built has been destroyed by the dragon, yet here you are, worrying if it'll return. Francois, 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 Francois. Really would have loved to kick them off the haystack, but he held back giving the chief, too, was worried about the villager's safety. Francois saw that nigh all the villagers had arrived, and so he cleared his throat. Dear neighbors and kin, think you still that we must endure this? No, of course not, but we cannot do anything about the dragon, said the grocer. Who says so? I did not leap onto its neck from the windmill blades, stepping on it twice, and did it not fall down and flee? Perhaps everyone worked so hard to build the mill that was destroyed because everyone's emotions became inflamed. Lifting their fists, they decide to take down the dragon. My friend switched to his own hands and calmed the crowd. Let's go home for today, everyone. Let's go home for today. Everyone's present. Everyone's present lack of self-preservation is not bravery, but rather wrath. If we desire to face danger after calming ourselves, only then when we truthfully call our sentiment valor. So everyone went home. The next day, there were still many youngsters who wished to follow Francois and take on the dragon. Who would have known that the valiant possesses the protection of the goddess's radiant charter? Encountering the true valor, the dragon could not either spout fire nor slash with its claws. It was forced to allow the other party to call pauses and switch personnel. And so, after several days and nights of fierce fighting, the wicked dragon could no longer bear it and chose to surrender. Interesting. So rather than he got them fired up saying we gotta defeat the dragon, and everyone's like, let's go kill it. He's like, wait. Come back tomorrow, gear up, and those of you who still want to fight, literally who slept on it, are truly the brave ones, and the dragon won't be able to defeat us then. Very interesting.
Feast your eyes, rejoice, and cheer, for this is the unquestionable truth. Look at the signature. Nobody is capable of
Look at the
forging
signature.
that.
I don't believe it. So, all along, our histories have been false?
Don't lose heart, Albizzi. It does not follow from his is true that ours are false.
That might be the most bogus logic I've ever heard. But keep up the mental gymnastics, Boberano. Been waiting for that look of jealousy on your face my whole life, and I'm gonna savor it.
And yet, it seemed that this conundrum could indeed have more than one solution.
Yeah, your truth is not equal
Everyone
mine.
agreed that there may be more than one truth.
Let's see if we can answer some questions.
Question 1. Who is it?
Well, we can't really get that wrong, so.
The great yokai, Nekomata in boots. And the trusty travel guide pixie. Travel guide. Trusty travel guide.
Question 2. By which virtue did the ancients defeat the dragon?
Valor. Oh, I guess they're ancients. Hard work and wealth, courage and strength, wisdom. If they outsmarted it, it would be wisdom. Right?
If this is the right answer, I swear I'll...
Correct!
What? A barefaced lie. So low.
Question 3.
Yeah, he was gonna say
Which
valor.
is more real? The fiction of the outside world, or the truth of this world?
Interesting. A fiction of the outside world. They keep using that line. A fiction of the outside world, acknowledging that the outside world in and of itself is fake. Which makes you wonder. But the truth of this world doesn't invalidate the falsehood of the outside world, and the falsehood of the outside world doesn't invalidate the truth of this world.
Hear, hear! Who can be sure that the outside world isn't just a dream? And that when the dreamer wakes up, they won't just find themselves inside a novel? There is no way to know, therefore both are equally real.
What a great quest to finish the
All correct.
summer event on.
You may have the key pedestal.
Wise Antonio. In the basement of the crumbling house, he began reading an ancient book. He had found his oil lamp shook from time to time, swaying structures above ground. Collapsed. The village was to be symbolically raised by the dragon. How do you, like, through symbolism raise a village? Whatever. Or it's supposed to represent. What does it represent by him destroying the village, actually? Anyways, by the dragon, and he had been chosen by the dragon. For he had not returned home, but Antonio did not care. He only wished to study the book the old lady had given him on the bridge as he passed it. This book was titled Radiant Charter, and within was recorded all the rules of every being in Simulacra. All the rules that every being in Simulacra must follow. It was written in the language of the world's creation at the very start, and if Antonio was not possessed of extraordinary wisdom and deciphered this primordial text, there would have been no study to be had. This book recorded no solutions as to resolving the difficulty of the constellation satellite presently faced, nor did it contain any hexes that could aid Antonio repairing his own. But he knew that the wisdom was the mightiest thing in the world. The morning light shone through the ruins of his home, and the neighboring blacksmith and chubby chief took great pains to get rid of the house's wreckage, which blocked the basement hatch. With dark circles about his eyes, Antonio said to the chubby chief, "I shall defeat the dragon. I will return soon." "Are you sure you're alright? You don't look like you got any sleep. Just smoke from the oil lamp. Don't worry about it." The dragon sat atop a mountain, treasure gazing down at mountain of treasures gazing down at insignificant little Antonio walking closer. Flames gathered in its throat, trying to burn the area 1 centimeter before him. All the better to scare this puny, foolish creature away. Halt. On the qualified second-class Meister, in the Radiant Charter states that I refuse a duel, you cannot use force. This restriction does indeed exist. And so the wicked dragon swallowed its own soul. How it dreaded going to the toilet tomorrow. Antonio, for his part, had not expected the second-class rule-clearing Meister qualification exam he had taken on a lark would become useful. And since I am second-class Meister, I propose a duel of riddles. You cannot refuse. Now, Simulacra had such a law, mainly in the benefit of sphinxes, old sages, and princesses who wished to make life hard for others. The evil dragon had not expected this world to catch up with it. I shall ask the first question. My house sold for 8,000 more yesterday, and I thought there was room to raise the price, so I bought it back for 9,000, planning to sell it for 10,000. How much more did I lose in the end? The dragon laughed in contempt. What's so hard about that? You could have waited until you hit 10,000 and made your move, which you sold it for 8. And you bought it for 9, so you lost 1,000 more. That you could have earned instead. Wrong. You burned my house down yesterday. I couldn't sell it on time, so I lost far more. Sorry, I mean, I do have to burn a house, and you happen to not be home. Wait, so he literally, it's like rule bound symbolically. Oh, I got like, listen, bro, it's a part of my nature. I have to burn a house, and since you're the only one who wasn't home, that's what it meant. So he literally had to. Hang on. Sorry about that. So I might as well hit one that doesn't result in any loss of life. Now that you've been lost this contest, I have the right to loot the same value as your life, minus 1 more. And considering that you burned my house, I can seek damages. Let's assume that my house is worth just 1 more. Well, Wicked Dragon, you know what to do with yourself. Please spare me, I'll give you anything. Your words, not mine, Antonio said as he pulled out a contract he had written long ago. Thus, Antonio used his wisdom to take all the evil dragon's treasures. The dragon, devastated whenever again I returned to attack Constellation Satellite, where Antonio lived. Many years later, a child asked Antonio, "You sold your place for 8,000 and spent 9,000 buying it back. So it looks like you actually did lose 10,000 more."
Look! My clan's history is true as well! There's that same unforgeable signature again, right here!
What?
Homie bodied a dragon. Literally clapped him in high
Does
ends.
this mean that my clan is the only odd one out?
Given that my clan's wisdom is such a subject of ridicule in your eyes, I will now appeal to my own personal intelligence, which I believe far surpasses that of my clan at large, and make a prediction. It seems likely that the claims made by each of our clans regarding their history and virtue are all true.
Oberano? How can that be?
Because they all coincide with
I get what's going on.
This is the last one.
Ugh. Oh my god. Galileo Alberto did many good deeds again today, though it was the most tiring to help the old lady on the bridge move her barrels of hard apple cider. They each got small barrels. The reward, moonlight was unobstructed and beautiful, and the 2 good friends climbed up high in the wall, blah 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 blah, like his big house. You're wrong, it's my home. House is that one, yeah, whatever. There's a lot of hard work trying to fix the wall, but we're not fussed on it anyways. Chubby Chief said, "Were you sure that you're not bragging when you said you knocked it down by yourselves?" Of course, that's the Chief's point. He was too good a person. He continued, "Also, it's too dangerous. So you got the dragon alone. Don't worry about us." 2 best friends, and the whole wall rolled departed. The evil dragon trembled before Alberto and Galileo. For some reason, the old lady's liquor can make people grow very, very large. It was how they accidentally squashed the high walls the previous night, and they glazed down at the ground far below. They were more or less understood how the dragon thought. No wonder it could accidentally destroy the village at its feet. So as long as they could get the dragon to know some people, it could surely come to an understanding. 2 friends just drank their magic cider, becoming even larger than the dragon by a good margin. Reeking of alcohol, they sandwiched the dragon between them. They drunkenly tried reasoning with it. The dragon rolled up in terror. All of its majesty and fell or gone, forever gone. Indeed, it even looked kind of pitiful. Alberto attempted to pick dirt off the scales of the dragon's back and wound up picking off an entire scale. The dragon stopped to flee, but Galileo, fearing that the crisis might persist for 10,000 years more if the mysterious thing was not cleared up, tugged the dragon's and dragged it right back. To be honest, we always lived under your feet. We are far too small, so you may not have ever seen us. Now that we've transformed and become big, so now surely you must know that we dwell at your feet. The dragon nodded repeatedly, and thus did the 2 the dragon chat all night, and believing the goal of mutual understanding achieved.
The signature.
So
it's true.
Accidentally destroying
Empathy
their
is one
village,
of the
they
founding
realized we
virtues
get
of Constellation Metropole
big. And they had to go
too.
talk to the dragon, scaring the
Just as
shit
we
out of it.
suspected, all 3 are the truth.
Okay. Well, this is a lot to process. I feel a little empty inside. Yes, we found the truth, but there's too much truth.
Too much
I
truth.
get you.
It's like the
It's
ocean.
like in Inazuma, when there were only 6 books in the Mirage Warrior series, it was really popular. But by the time book number 88 came out, nobody wanted to read it. They'd all lost interest.
A brief moment of joy is
Jesus,
drowned out by a
88.
growing feeling of melancholy. But perhaps there is a glimmer of hope to be found too? Anyone? Anyone? All right, I'll say it. How is it the case that these 3 versions of history can all be true at once?
Because never were true to begin with.
That's exactly what Paimon was wondering, but Boborano kind of already explained it away earlier. So Paimon was worried she'd look stupid for asking the question.
All right, Paimon, yours. looks
It's not a
It's your
stupid question
turn.
at all, my dear little pixie. While I did postulate that different truths may coexist, there is an issue when it comes to these 3 truths in particular. The problem is, all 3 truths are the history of the exact same thing, namely the dragon and the Metropole's origins. Yet all 3 bear the signature, showing that they're genuine.
How'd your voice
Time to
change?
come clean. I am the narrator, the one who's been guiding you all this time.
My mind is blown.
You're overdoing it a little bit there. Anyway, I only did
Hopefully
what I
got 3
did
voices.
because
It's like the narrator in this
Why
one.
are you suddenly spilling the beans?
I poured my heart and soul into all this. I was worried you wouldn't ask.
Lovely.
The truth is, I was one of the first conscious beings ever made by the goddess of creation. And I've known for a long time that this whole world is just a fairy tale written by the goddess of fate.
Hey, he knows the sky is fake.
I know they say that fairy tales are just made up for kids to read, but I refuse to believe that fairy tales are just fictional stories and nothing more. The reason why Constellation Metropole has 3 origin stories is that the goddess of fate wrote 3 drafts and couldn't decide which one she liked best. Then her cat trod all over them, and they all got crumpled together, so the 3 worlds just sort of folded into one. The goddess of fate was torn between them anyway, since she couldn't decide which ending was best for the dragon or the kids. So when she saw what the cat had done, she simply decided to go with all 3.
Interesting.
Who would have thought? But what does any of this have to do with what you did?
The fact that Nekomata
You're
is
not
here
a
too
fictional
is
character,
big
so
cutting it
you couldn't
also.
hope to understand my sorrow. Honestly, I don't think there's anyone in all of Simulanka who would understand. Every day that I experience, every interaction I have with another person, is it really all just a work of fiction?
But he can hop out of
The
the
only
worlds.
reason the 3 great clans wanted to find out the truth was for the pointless task of electing the supreme clan. I thought that once they'd learned the truth, it might make them curious enough to investigate further. But as it turned out, they just accepted it and carried on living the same old lives. I have to motivate them to keep looking for answers now that they think they've learned the truth. I have to make them uncomfortable with the superficial explanation that they took at face value. And I have to figure out, once and for all, while you real people from the outside world are still here, are we real?
Aww.
That's my full confession. Time for you to take me back. I'm guessing I'll probably be forced to make a public apology, then sentenced to half a day in solitary confinement.
Half a day.
I definitely deserve half a day. Oh, also, pass this message on to Cape, Boborano, and Albizzi, if you could. The Great Clockwork Key was originally put in place jointly by the ancestors of the 3 clans. If the 3 of them had any ability to cooperate whatsoever, they'd have been able to remove it by themselves. Over all these years, not once have they ever tried removing it together.
Oh, my poor child. There's one thing you've been mistaken about this whole time.
Ah! Whose voice is that? Detective? Was that you? Your voice acting's actually pretty good.
The reason fairy tales are suitable for children is that they help them to understand the world. Fairy tales may be works of fiction, but at their heart lies an internal logic that is undoubtedly real-world truth in a condensed form. Perhaps they simplify good and evil, And perhaps they hide the darkness in metaphors.
Wow, here we go, the entire
But let
explanation
there
of the
be
Genshin story.
no doubt. The world within fairy tales is as real as can be. And by extension, you and your compatriots are also
So let's talk about that
real.
layered lasagna story.
Goddess! Is it
First layer
really you?
is we're talking
The
about
line
the
that
story of
separates
Simulacra.
footnotes from narrative
second
can never be crossed. Never the two shall meet. This is
this.
why you have never heard my voice before. But now you wish to break free from the story, and there's a cat nearby, so you can hear my echo.
Necromora!
She can speak
Just-
to cats.
your echo?
Yeah, because she's long gone. So like,
Oh, poor detective.
So, we are a part of the real world too.
I mean, he got his answer, and he can enter the real world. I don't know why we don't bring that up to him. So we need a shot of the scene. Okay. No smiling from the victims. Defense. No, don't get us. Stay on the ground. That's a nice shot. Weirdest photo experience of my life. That's a good shot. I like that. But that's cool. It highlights the like we talked about before, the story elements and the idea of the narrative fiction, and that fairy tales can hide the reality within them. Didn't think we'd be seeing that directly stated.
Albitsi
we
just
all
gave me a
know
quick
it
rundown of the situation.
because of
So you
3.0,
caught
but
the detective?
they're directly
Sorta.
stating it.
We chased him until he surrendered. Oh, and he asked us to pass on a message.
Does he really think we didn't try that? 'Cause we did. After 6 months in that place.
Ah, that was my bad. I thought it was a stupid idea at the time, so I didn't really exert myself.
I also sort of stopped trying after 3 years.
You
How many years have they stuck in
Never
that hole?
mind. I'm partly to blame as well. On the second attempt, I just hugged the key and pretended like I was pulling as hard as I could.
You guys are so lazy. My granny's neighbor's pet cat has nothing on you, and it spends all day,
Cat.
every day sunbathing.
Anyway, you said you heard the voice of the goddess of fate at the end?
Whoever does Cap has a great
That's
voice
amazing.
acting.
There is a world beyond our
But
own
he puts just a
after
little
all.
emotional tonality.
What
of
would
it.
you
It makes it
guys
very
say
good.
to taking a trip to the outside world sometime?
He gets it.
Otherwise, I got bashed in the back of the head for nothing.
Depends. Do either of you know how to get there? But yes, I agree we should go. And not invite the detective, just to annoy him. But maybe the reason we've never worried about whether we're real or not is that, unlike him, we weren't there to witness the creation of this world. We've never had any reason to doubt that we're real. If someone ever convinced me that these delightful dimwits, Cape and Albitsi, weren't real, oh, I'd be devastated.
Look at that. That also, that once again ties into the 2 days later. Ties into most likely what's gonna happen in Natlan. What is it? We see the world for your true eyes, your real eyes. And if we engage with the sovereign again, the sovereign that was there when the power was usurped, you might get that type of thing where the clans are looking for like, how were our clans created? Or what's the truth of our clans? Blah 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 blah. And they go to asking a sovereign for that. Like, where do we come from? Bro? What's the origin of the world? Maybe we'll look at that. So you're not supposed to investigate in Sumeru or ask about the original words and the origin of the world. That's another thing we could be getting. Hey, things to come. But I like that. Yeah, I like that she explained like the narrative, the idea of like what the whole point. It's the whole point of these quests. Yeah, they're fairy tales and they're very simplistic, but the whole point is that they allude to a deeper meaning, not only the story, but everything about it. Ah, this Nekomata. I wish we got Yeah, we got to return the key. Other than that, we did it. This is a good story. The characters are very dynamic and funny. How people are saying it's probably one of the best quests. Yeah, because it changes our personality. Each one. These are when they want to do quests like this, where it's not focused on the main characters and we're focused on NPCs. Have the NPCs be like this? A trio that bounce off each other. Each one has a unique personality. They all think. Try out the roles. In theory, it should be over now. One mental state into another. Interesting. Is that the point? That actually alludes well to the detective and our narrator. That's how we end. We return the key, and it stays there in the simulacrum. With 3 chairs, with the manuscript. Hey, is there an achievement for 3 people sitting? Okay. That was good. Once again, these quests, badass when they're done like this, and it highlights the emphasis on what the story of, how fairy tales tie into the world, and the idea of fairy tales and how they can tie in, and just because the story is simplistic to you, because you're too stupid to comprehend it, doesn't, or you're just a child, or have the mindset of a child, doesn't mean that the story itself is not an advanced story, or not saying something worth hearing.
All expenses paid.
I didn't even swap teams, bro. Forgot to swap the damn team. Let's go. We can't go in here. We can't go in there. No. No secret to be had. Hidden away. Okay. I always forget that. What's it? Nahida. If you jump with her, she makes chiming noises. Yeah, she like. Hear that? She chimes. Yeah, she like. Very nice. Anyways, we're done here.
Hey!
Goodbye! Video's over. Stop watching.